Hey girls, guys, and all people like it is Mox here, and hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about more FNAF news. Once again, we're back on the FNAF movie news updates Twitter page, and they got some good stuff for us today. So along with doing a countdown for the FNAF movie, counting the days down, like we see here, 203 days until the party, that was on April 6th. We got a big old spoiler, a major spoiler, it said. A set leak has been spotted on LinkedIn from one of the crew members by Twitter user @CupcakeRuim. They have taken the liberty of coloring the people to protect their identities. The leaked photo shows an interesting place, speculation in the second photo. So if we actually click on it, there's we see a picture of them nicely colored in so that their identities are protected. If we actually go on their page, their actual Twitter page, the picture's much bigger, so we're gonna use this. Now it's super blurry and really hard to see much of any detail in anything, but they're clearly inside the pizzeria or inside some part of a pizzeria or significant location. We'll go from left to right here. On the left we have what looks like one of those grabber machines. So we have what looks like a grabber machine, which is super cool. I wonder if the plushies are just random plushies they got that they're allowed to use, or if those are actual FNAF plushies. But anyway, there's also a few like arcade machines that looks like it'll be one of those, like a basketball machine of some kind. Standard stuff. All right, it's actually easier in the full image. So next to that we have a bunch of like plastered papers, which looks like they could be drawings and stuff left from children. That's what it looks like. At first I was thinking, I don't know, like you always see those advertisement walls and there's just a bunch of plastered things on there. I don't think it's that. They look like drawings and stuff. They're all in this yellowy paper, but very cool. Hard to see anything in that really, but cool. We see the background of the set, which is just empty warehouse, I'm assuming. Then a little bit to the right of that, we have the classic checkerboard like lining going around, and above it we have a poster of what looks like Freddy. It looks like classic Freddy with the black top hat and everything. Can't read any of what that says. Then it looks like this is like an exit of some kind. I have no clue. This is clearly a doorway, most likely to an exit, because I can't read that sign at all. And then to the right is what's very interesting to me. It looks like Spring Bonnie, Golden Bonnie, Yellow Bonnie, whichever one you guys prefer to use and doesn't make you hate me. God forbid I say Golden Bonnie and get massive hate. But that's what he looks like. If we go on their other post, which is like a big old zoomed in version of this, it looks like the tiniest bit of purple there. I can't really tell. It looks like the tiniest bit of purple. Those are definitely two ears, and this is definitely a yellowy coloration. So it has to be Spring Bonnie, right? That's what I'm assuming. This doesn't really give us any real plot info or anything like that, but it is just really cool to see, and I always love looking at the backgrounds of these things to see if there's any, like, you know, Easter eggs, whatnot. And all right, and then we just have the building itself with the flooring and everything, and the floor is that checkered tile floor and everything with like purple walls, very cool, blue like outline, a little bit of brown in there. And then we have the bottom floor, which is that classic, you know, that Chuck E. Cheese arcade, old arcade theater floor. And I think their speculation makes a lot of sense. This floor looks pretty spot on. That's like, this is what I would say is like an arcadey version of this floor. It's kind of exact. That's not to say that we're going to be seeing the bite scene in this movie. It just means that we're in maybe the same location, or all the locations look very similar, which I would believe any of those at this point, really. But that's super cool to see anyway. We're going to go up a little bit, and this one I was actually really interested in, like, taking a good look at. Costume spoiler warning. A costume designer from the FNAF movie team posted a reel to Instagram showcasing what seemed to be a bunch of wardrobe, some possible new FNAF renders, and a few other goodies. To avoid harassment to her, we will not share her name and censor her face. Felt like the censoring here was a little bit excessive. This is not how I would have censored something. It's very blaring. You'll see it in a second. Now, if I'm being honest, I really feel like I could go through this whole thing and see if there's anything that we can find, but these words are so blurry. It's so hard to see, and I can't tell if there's anything super important. The only thing I can really tell would be important would be locations, costumes. Editing Mox, can you help me out here, please? I don't think that those are actual significant story or plot words. I think that's just like what is necessary for this. So like costumes, it says costume designer. I feel like that, like warehouse supervisor. Those are just roles necessary to do that job, I'm assuming. So if you guys find anything in that, please let me know down in the comments, because I can't see a thing. Okay, we have like report stuff that doesn't look like super filled in. I have no idea. They're drinking some cool water. Very cool. Once again, no idea what that says, but they're doing some kind of briefing, it looks like. Bad cupcake costumes. I was always very confused what this whole bad cupcake thing was talking about. Like, I saw a pretty funny comment, actually. Guys, I'm starting to think that this bad cupcake is actually the FNAF movie. And it's like, is that what that was? I kept seeing it all over the place, and I was like, I have no clue what that is. I'm not even gonna touch it or talk about it. But if we actually do look into it a bit more, we have bad cupcake costumes. These look like custom, like, renders for the animatronics. I don't recall seeing any of seeing them in these positions, specifically Freddy and Bonnie. I don't remember ever seeing Bonnie's face look like that, and I don't remember ever seeing Freddy's leg up in that position. So I feel like these are like custom, like some graphic designer made that for them, which isn't huge news because we already know they're going with a very accurate look for the animatronics. So it's not like they're telling us, hey, this is going to be accurate. That's kind of news we already know. But it's cool. We see the whole crew here with Golden Freddy all slumped over. And here's where we have the big censorship. They're censoring her like name tag thing. And then I'm guessing this is like her office or just her workstation. And then we're seeing some clothes here, which is like, I can't find anything significant in this. We have the most blaring yellow jacket looking thing ever. That's the only significant thing I can really tell from this. Other than that, just looks like some nice clothes. There's a bunch of clothes. How many outfits are they gonna wear in this movie? I know that's not how it works. I'm sure they're just testing stuff out. Oh, there it was again. That was like a much better image, but a very far away image of the animatronics. Incoming packages, they have a bunch, it looks like. Oh, that classic office floor. Ooh, and then we have our first look at Chica and her, well, first off her cupcake, and then Chica. So after doing like the smallest amount of digging around possible, I saw some people saying that like they look custom. They look like these cardboard cutouts look different from the other ways we've seen these animatronics, like the other games and media whatnots. They look different. So a lot of people are speculating, well, I say a lot of, few people I saw on Twitter and myself are speculating that this is what they're gonna look like very, very accurate. At least like this is what they're trying to emulate, because things do tend to look different from 2D to 3D, but that's what Chica's gonna look like. Very cool. Freddy looks mad chillin', bro. He looks so chill. I did see people point out like, hey, that looks like Freddy, and the Freddy that we saw in the teaser is missing the ear, more like Golden Freddy. I do still think that it's a little bit iffy. I don't want to straight up say that's Golden Freddy, because there is Withered Freddy still, who is also missing an ear, and he just doesn't look yellow enough to me. I feel like if they're going for this accuracy, he's gonna look much more yellow colored than he does currently. But Freddy looks cool. Then we see Bonnie. They're all like, Freddy and Bonnie both seem to be kind of like T-posing a little bit, which is kind of funny. And then we see Foxy, which someone was saying that like they really think that these are renders of what the animatronics are gonna look like in the movie, because Foxy's like tears and stuff are way more detailed than they are in the games, which I feel like I agree with. Hard to tell in these very, very pixely, low quality videos, but like, yeah. Then we get to see a few more shots of some clothes. Lots of clothes. Oh, then we get to see probably the best picture we've had of this yet. We get to see all of them. All their mouths are open. They look very joyful, question mark. Kind of hard to tell with the animatronics, but they look joyful-ish. And Golden Freddy looks interesting. His head looks more cartoony than usual, but maybe that's just me. Oh god, I feel like someone's gonna go through and very slowly nitpick apart this whole video and get the most detailed things ever, but I'm probably not gonna do that, because I can't see anything of too big significance. Except this, we have Withered Freddy. Well, the model looks closer to Withered Freddy, but less withered. He's not missing his ear, etc. So I'm thinking we're just gonna have different like generations of Freddy, and I feel like this is the one we see outside, whereas the better looking one is going to be maybe a newer one. You can quiz me on the whole FNAF timeline down in the comments and just yell at me about whatever I'm getting wrong. But this looks a lot more like Withered Freddy, so I feel like we're just going to get multiple versions of them, which makes sense. In the lore, there's been changes, and so I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we just have multiple versions. Then we get to see like a nice coloring. I feel like they made well, this is like very clean coloring, so I do wonder who actually made this. I feel like they asked the kids on the set to like, hey, color this stuff in for us, please. Some free labor on that. And authenticity, of course. Authenticity. Lots more costumes. Oh, okay. This was her like face, I'm assuming, so they super cropped out the whole thing. Oh god, another drawing, but Jesus, this one is very spooky. So we have some weird like symbols here. I have a strong feeling this is not actually going in the movie. One, because it's, you know, it's not actually on the set. Also, there's these weird symbols, which I have not ever seen in FNAF before, but god, it's so spooky. Whoever's doing these drawings, I'm sure they're gonna do great with the set drawings if that's the same person, but if that's some code to decipher, please let me know. Another cool shot at Freddy, again looking different from any other piece of media we've seen him in, so I feel like they're going to be going with, you know, these styles of look, which is incredibly accurate but different, like slightly different, which just makes sense because game to movie is quite difficult to manage. And then we have a bunch more costume stuff, and that was super cool. I really enjoy seeing background stuff, and I would like, I'm not in the film industry in any way whatsoever, but I feel like it's a thing I would enjoy. Like, that looked super cool. It looks really cool to work with movies and stuff like that. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, then we have some fan-made teasers, but if we scroll up a bit, we got some big spoilers apparently. It looks like we got official confirmation of not only the actor that's in the actual Freddy suit, but we also got the main puppeteer for Freddy and Golden Freddy. We also got names of the puppeteers, but we do not know what animatronics they were in charge of. So the people we saw cast earlier in my last video, question mark, where they were showing the castings, I'm pretty sure that's going to be for their voice actors. So I'm assuming they're just going to be doing the voices or being in the suits, whereas these puppeteers are going to be separate people, obviously, because they're not costumes. They need to be roboted around and whatnot. Opening October 27th, I've been extremely fortunate to be a part of the upcoming Five Nights at Freddy's film as Puppet Captain. I love that title. And the puppeteer behind Freddy Fazbear himself and Golden Freddy, with the extremely talented Kevin Foster in the main Freddy suit. Editing me, stick this somewhere, please. There's a casting for Foxy. Roger Joseph Manning Jr. He's been cast as the motion capture and voice actor for Foxy. Ah, okay, I was right. Motion capture and voice actor, okay. It sounds like the voice actors are going to be doing motion capture for them for CGI scenes, whereas when they're using practical effects, they're going to be using these puppeteers and people in the suit. Okay, just to straighten that out for everybody and myself. These past 8 months have been an exciting whirlwind, starting with the build at Jim Henson's Creature Shop, which we saw earlier in our previous video, led by the incredibly talented and humble Bobby Bennett, and then heading to New Orleans in January for the shoot. We had the most awesome team of puppeteers, including Amanda Maddock, Russ Walco, Sarah O, Brett O'Quinn, and a group of hardworking puppet wranglers, including Bobby Bennett, Andrea Detwiller, Wolfgang Crissel, Andrea Giletti, Barton Gilly, and Jack Kendall. That is a lot of people doing puppeteering stuff. I don't know any background, anythings about movies, but very cool. Good to give the behind the scenes workers love because they're gonna drive this movie forward. And yeah, just lots of love to those guys. And I wish them luck. Can't wait for you guys to see all our hard work in October. And then they got all their hashtags and then all their ads. Very, very cool. I wouldn't super call that spoilers, except for the fact that there's Golden Freddy in the movie. Also, guys, I wanted to highlight this because I totally forgot. People have found a way to like kind of hack IMDB a little bit, like to kind of put in false info. So just be a little bit wary of things. If you want legitimate info, I would try to follow this FNAF movie updates page. And like, but not everyone can be perfect. There might be some incorrect info. Not to call the Twitter page out, just to keep you guys cautious. There is fake info going around. This is like unrelated to the FNAF movie, but I super wanted to share this. Someone made the whole FNAF timeline, like with all of the details in it. I cannot tell if this is a troll. I like responded to it on Twitter. I was like, I think I need a guide for the guide because this is insane. Like what? Like you can't even zoom in. And when people were asking for the creator for the HD version, they just replied with like, make your own. And it's like, okay, cool. Thank you. Very, very nice. I don't know if we're ever going to get that HD version. And I would love to just to see if like, I tried to zoom in. I tried to do like the big zooms. The information seems fairly legit, which is just even more insane to me because there's so much here and like all this just is wrong. So they even labeled stuff that's like incorrect, but like a widespread enough idea that it needed to be brought up. This is nuts to me. And this is what I was talking about when I was like, you can't make the FNAF games exactly like you can't translate it perfectly into a movie because it's just nuts. Look at all this stuff here. That's ridiculous. And that's why I'm happy that this is going to be like its own thing. It's not attached to the games necessarily. It's following the general story and outline of the games. I just wanted to bring this up because I thought this was insane. This is the smallest font ever. Like, look at that. How can editing box? Can you like try a little bit? Zoom in on it. It's nuts. I'm sorry. Don't even try. All right, but that's gonna be just about it. I'm happy with the news that we've been getting. It's not been like the most spoilery news ever, but it's enough to keep us all super hyped. If you haven't seen my last video talking about the big teaser, this one here, it'll be linked down below in the description below, along with the links to the FNAF movie updates page and actually to this cupcake_ruin page. They seem to be giving a whole lot of like good info, similar info to the FNAF movie updates page, but more, but they don't speak English in their posts. And it seems like translated from Portuguese. But yeah, that's gonna be just about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. What did you guys think? Are you hyped for the FNAF movie? I know I am incredibly hyped. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this. Stay tuned for the next one, and goodbye.